we're just going to start at the top. This is a genuine first meeting, Elaine. It's so good to meet you.
Never seen you before.
Never before. So I need to ask you about your experience with Alice and Love David. I need to ask you about your experience specifically in MmmmBath. And in general, I want to ask you about your life to whatever degree you're open to sharing. So of course, if there's anything I ask you'd rather not answer, completely understandable, but I'll ask you some things. To start with, how did you meet Alice and Love David?
She was gigging in singing in Brighton. Was there with we call ourselves the Six Amigos. So there were 6 friends there, myself, my husband, and then 2 other couples. And we saw her in one place and thought, wow, she's good. So a couple of hours later, we went on to the next place, got chatting, and I think it was the following year, it was going to be our 40th wedding anniversary. So took her card, but like everything, never knew where the card went. COVID came, COVID went. Anyway, cut a long story short, finally searched on Google, saw a picture of her. From that, I managed to find her name, contacted her, did the party. She told me about Patreon, which really was glad to join. And then she mentioned her MmmmBaths.
Right. All right. Yes, this is an epic journey landing into it. There was such a search.
Meant to be, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a true believer. Yeah, true believer. So basically, tried the MmmmBath, and I've suffered for over 20 years with depression. Twice I tried to come off of medication, but I didn't really come off the medication. I felt I needed to come off the medication for my family rather than me. So basically it was the wrong time to do it. So I then back up on medication. And I also at one point had a conversation with my doctor to say, I never want to come off it again. And he said, that's fine. We can lower you in dosage. You never have to come off it again. Because I was frightened. I was petrified of coming off of it and what would happen. Anyway, so cut long story short, then had this MmmmBath and I felt so chilled. Never done anything like it in my life before. A bit embarrassed to do some of the sounds, but really felt lovely. Just the moisturising, the drying, laid on the bed in the dark, just I felt like a load had been lifted. But I didn't do it live, because when she was doing it live, I was actually away. So I did it from a recording.
A replay, all right.
But after that, then when you do it live, the experience is just mind-blowing.
So after a replay experience, then you experienced it live.
Then I did live. And I found I had a lot of issues. I think a lot of my issues started my depression. Well, I think I might have had, actually, I think when my dad died when I was 21, when I look back, because you don't recognise things, do you? When I looked back, after he died, I was very tired all the time. Didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to do anything. Just not like me, you know. I always used to be a bit of I wouldn't say party animal, but I just love going out, you know. So I think maybe I might have had a little bit of depression then. But then I had trouble with concerns with my mum, arguments, and we were like best friends at one time. And it was so hurtful. And I could never, after she died, I could never get the answers I wanted. So that didn't help. So anyway, and in the bath, I found that what I wanted to get rid of, it was that. So every time I was having a bath, the MmmmBath, I was actually crying. And I don't know how, I was crying, but not, I don't know how to explain it. But I was feeling I was being held, because when you're in the water, you feel, you literally feel like you're being held. And then, as I say, I was then washing it down that plug hole. Then you're like setting it like what I wanted out of the bath and my intentions. And every time I was just finding I was getting more and more. I was feeling, I want to get rid of this medication. I want to get rid of this. It's not a poison, because when I had it, it was a crutch and I needed it. I'm not putting down anyone on antidepressants, because you need it at the time. You need it. But there's other ways of dealing, I think, with depression. And I'd never had the opportunity or found another way to deal with it. I didn't have from the NHS, I didn't have any counselling, but I did from a hospice, the hospices. I had, I think, about 6 or 7 weeks. She was a great lady. I think she made me realise a little that I wouldn't ever find an answer, and I'd have to accept that, but it still didn't make things better. But
can I just ask, sorry, was this hospice service for your mother?
It was after she died. Yeah, but they help you with my mum, because she wanted to die at home. So we nursed her at home, her home. And then they help you afterwards too. I mean, when you think they're not funded really by the government, it's voluntary. So they help you, like counselling, whatever, they help you through it. So I had 6 weeks, I think it was that, but I had nothing from the NHS apart from tablets. And then, these baths, and I just thought, you know what, this is making me feel that I don't need this crutch anymore. I've got this inner self. I just knew that it had worked for me. It may not work for everyone. I'm not saying everyone on antidepressants should go and have an MmmmBath, but it really, in fact, I wish they would. I wish people would give it a try, because it's just changed my life. It's made me feel so light, just really more open to learning. I write poetry now. I can express myself in poetry. And I have slowly started. I did the other week on Free Your True Voice. I did read one poem that I wrote for the first time. But I did feel nervous after. I could feel my tummy really shaking, and I felt nervous afterwards. But I'll get there. I know I will. Well, I'm doing this now.
Yes, in cacophonous applause. That is, what can I ask, when your first poem, I have some more questions about your early experience, but your first poem, when did that come through?
My first poem, well, this has started in August last year.
2021.
So it's really new, all new. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not all of the poems, but a lot of the poems I do. When I lay down, what happens afterwards now, I feel so chilled, and in another way, I just feel so beautiful that I come in, I just lay on the bed, and they just come into my head. Or sometimes early in the morning, they come into my head, or I even surprise myself sometimes with some of them. But
lovely.
Yeah. And the family that I've let in, of course, some family, some friends, but my sister, she just says to me, you're really different again, Elaine. Not that I was sad. I wasn't sad. I was just the anxiety that comes with it, with depression and things like that. The song Tears of a Clown. So many people used to say to me, because I'm quite a joker, and they used to say, but how can you have depression? And I say, yeah, but what you see isn't really what's going on inside me. You cover it. You try to cover it.
I'm so intrigued. You mentioned the anxiety that comes along with depression. Can you speak to what is the feeling that's associated with the anxiety?
With anxiety?
With in your experience?
In my experience.
Where was it in your body?
Oh, my head, my stomach. I just feel like, I just, not being able to cope. And I mean, when one of the times I had, I think I was off the tablets then. Not that I've ever, I can't say I've wanted to commit suicide, not in that sense, but I'd started a full-time job. I always used to do part-time, but the job I was doing was really getting really stressful. And my mum had actually said to me, I really hope you get this other job. Well, I got it, but it was with the government. I had to wait a while. And I think I wasn't ready. And I started it, and it was too much for me. And I had about a month off. I can't remember exactly, but I had some time off with depression. I went back, but I went back too soon. And I was in that morning, and I just thought, I can't stay in this building. And I came out. Funny enough, one of my really, really good friends, she'd left work where she was working and met me. And she said, what's the matter? And we went for a coffee. And I said, that's it, I'm not going back, I'm going home. And I remember walking to the bus station with her. And then she went off, and it was pouring with rain. I nearly said it, pouring with rain. And I thought, I can't get on this bus with all these people. And I walked home, didn't have mobile, walked home. I remember I got lost, I was getting lost, and buses were coming along. And I thought, I don't care if I walk in front of that bus. That's how I felt. I did eventually get home.
And when was that? I'm just in the timeline of the world. What is time? But when was that in relation to today?
That's again 20 odd. When I first really started suffering with depression.
Gotcha. And when
I think you try to push yourself to be normal, whatever normal is.
Sure, whatever's prescribed somewhere at some paradigm of a normalcy. Interesting. So where did medication come into your life?
Oh, about the same time. Well, yeah, the same time, about them. No, I was just going to say, because then I went to bed. I don't know, I had a few days in bed. Didn't want to get up, didn't want to do anything. The first doctor thought it was a virus.
Then when did it?
I saw another doctor that specialised in depression at the GP surgery, lucky enough, and he recognised it. And so then slowly built me up on tablets and yeah.
And so tablets medication was part of your life for a series of many years.
Over 20 years. Yeah.
20 years. And you mentioned you first were, and if a crutch keeps you upright, that's what it's there for, right? So be upright with it. When
if you broke your leg, you'd use a crutch, wouldn't you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So then you said the first time you were tapering off was not for yourself, was for someone else? No,
I don't know, I just thought something inside me was saying, oh, this isn't fair, I need to come off the tablets, be normal, for the family, blah, blah, which wasn't really the best thing. So I did, I came off them, and I can't remember exactly how long I was off them. It wasn't very long. And I went back on them because I was just, didn't want to do anything again, anxious,
Right. So then coming back to the MmmmBath experience and then the decision to be like, now it's time to put this crutch away.
Yeah.
Where was it? What felt different for you? How did it feel?
Well, the feeling of wanting to.
Yeah.
It was there in my head. I just thought, this is what I need. I don't need artificial medicine or tablets, or I'm ready now to actually face life and I want to be me again.
And this being me again, and you said you're what did your sister say? You're different again? You're you again?
Oh yeah, she said I can see so much how because I think you've got to have quite an open mind to start with the MmmmBaths. To want to, because it's not for everyone. It's like, I don't know, medication's not for everyone, is it? Life's not for, but I think you've got to be open your mind to it And it's no good having it once and thinking, well, it was all right, it wasn't all right. I mean, I've tried to get my sister to do it, but her thing is I'm too old in the tooth.
Old in the tooth, like not going to change my.
And she just, bless her. She just takes life. She's had a hard life and she takes it as it comes, bless her. She always seems to be the one that supports the others, or really, when she should be needing the support. But anyway, so
giving herself time for something like MmmmBath would be great, but that would be. But you were speaking to the repeat going back is what's helpful as well.
With the MmmmBath, I look forward to them because it's my because it's really, you just learn something new. You feel something different every time. Although you know that the way that they're going to go, you know, you're getting your nice hot bath and all the bubbles, and then you hear Alison, you know, doing mantras, and it's just, I just can't. I wish people would do it so they could experience it for themselves, because it's just, as I say, I mean, going back to my sister, you know, we've spoken to it, and I've said to her, I bet some people think I'm you know, weird, you know, doing this, and and then she said to me, do you know what? And I'm going to swear, so please excuse me, but she said, who cares a fuck what people think, because look what it's done for you. And whoever would have thought I'd have been writing the poetry that I write. Yeah,
the impact is felt for sure. And also there's this thing about normal versus weird that's come up as we've been talking. What's normal or what's weird, but by what assessment tool, by what standards?
It's normal to me.
Yeah, right. Interesting. So then why, going back to you and Alison and your MmmmBath experience, why did you subscribe to Patreon? Why was that the first step?
Because I've always, my next life, I'm going to be a musician. Or a singer. I've always from a kid, I always loved music. I did actually do violin lessons at school. That also was because I hated needlework, and I got out of needlework. But in the end, they made me give it up because I was so behind in needlework. And I wish I'd kept it up. I wish I'd kept it up. But like anything, I didn't. I was in the choir at school, but then when I was telling you, it was only about 250 of us in the school. You can imagine why I was in the choir. There wasn't many to choose from. But I've always loved music, dancing to it, listening to it. That's another thing I hardly did when I had my depression. I didn't put music on as much as I used to.
Interesting.
Or I'd put music on that maybe brought memories, you know, that sort of thing.
What kind of music do you play now?
Anything and everything.
And what kind of sounds do you make now?
What in the what do you mean?
Anytime,
singing?
I guess, just like a ball, you know. Singing. Do you sing now? Yeah, to yourself.
Well, I sing. I don't know about if the others enjoy it, but I sing. Yeah. And I love hearing. It's like even. It's funny. My little grandson. He really seems to have picked up. He's only 22, 23 months. He really seems to have picked up like this Baby Shark song, but he really he's really picked it up. And the latest one he likes at the moment is Bam Bam. Yeah, have you heard it?
I have not yet. Okay.
Oh, I can't think of the blooming Ed Sheeran, and it's Camilla, whatever her name is. But the Bam Bam, he's in the back of the car, and it's Bam Bam. He really seems to catch bits. So I'm hoping he's going to love music like I love music.
How lovely would that be? We can sing together. I will go look up Bam Bam.
Yeah.
But so did you? I'm presuming you did not sing like that before an MmmmBath experience. How did you feel about your voice?
Oh no! People have. Oh no! Don't worry. Especially if I had a drink, I'll do a karaoke. But
great! Oh, good. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm a singer.
Huh.
No, I did through your true voice do something. Just the first bit. I want to dance with somebody. Alison reckoned that I held the key, but maybe she was just being nice to me.
No, she's a discerning palate. I think she'd tell you. That's amazing. Okay. So if I'm going to use this word being unmuted, right? There's
Yep.
aspects. So you were singing before you were doing that, but some aspect of your life was muted prior to MmmmBath.
Yeah.
Would that be true to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. I was more restricted. I'm trying to think of the right words to use. Yeah, I was more restricted. I was more downtrodden. So I wouldn't really stick up for myself. I wouldn't say what I was thinking, and it makes me sound I wasn't unhappy. I was not unhappy, because there's a difference between being depressed and unhappy.
No, and that's an important nuance. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, unhappy, when some people, if you say you suffer with depression, they think you're upset all the time, you're crying all the time, you're sad all the time. It's not that. It's the other bits. It's the anxiety, sometimes just not feeling in the same room with people, wanting to, although you're with people, you don't want to be, you want to be by yourself. And
those are all amazing descriptors. Yeah, but so then what's unrestrained? What's different?
I just feel that I feel free. I feel that I believe in myself. I feel, I just feel now I can say things, and if people don't like it, as long as I'm not hurting them, it's my life. If I want to, again, without hurting people, if I want to do something and I can do it, I will. If I can't for any reason, I won't.
Free. It sounds like
I don't want to be bullshit. Some people might be, I'm not being bullshit, I'm being me.
Well, I'm so sorry, I'm not catching the word. What is it?
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Not bullshit. No, bullshit. Sorry. Bullshit. Like being arrogant, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah, it must
bullshit,
be. It's a California translation error. So I just bullshit. It's a great word. Okay, cool. Yeah. How would you describe, and I know you've said you've talked to your sister about it, but how would you describe, I've heard you say it a little bit too, MmmmBath to someone who's never known the experience? Yeah.
Okay, how would I explain it? I would say it is one of the most comforting, beautiful things you could experience, because a lovely warm bath, to get in anyway, it's luxurious, isn't it? And to have the extra bits go with it, i.e. you've got you're in there and you've got someone that's speaking, singing to you, you're just in another world because you're really listening to the words, and you can just, as I say, I literally feel that I've got arms around me. You're being protected. And when it comes to the scrubbing, I mean, after I finally came to with my mum, realised that, well, I'm never going to know, and she's not here anymore. It might have hurt her just as much. So it's time to go. Let go. Both of us have to release that. And that's what happened. And now I have an MmmmBath and I don't have tears. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Interesting. Yeah. So the letting go.
You feel your heart. Yeah, your heart is, I know because of the hot water, but your heart is, you feel your heart, your pulse. It's just beautiful. And I say, when you get out of the bath, you it's all self-care. You're looking after yourself. You're drying yourself, as Alison says, like a baby. You put moisturizer. Again, you're looking after. I've got to say, especially because I 3 days a week look after the grandchildren. In the morning, I don't have time after showers and things to put moisturizer on and do whatever, because I don't want to have an extra. I don't want to get up half an hour earlier. That's awful. Precious. But I'm up early enough as it is. So yeah.
Precious sleep.
It's just and then, as I say, I lay on the bed and I feel like I'm floating. I'm so chilled.
When you're in the tub, do you make other sounds? Do you make other sounds?
I make more now than I used. When I first started it, I was but again, I was restricted in myself, wasn't I? So that was affecting that. I do now, I did the other week when it was Wolf, and and we've got fairly new neighbours, and I thought, oh, but in the end I started making a noise anyway because it went off my head. I forgot, but yeah, I was thinking like, oh God, I wonder what they'd think if they hear me making noises.
What kind of noises though? I missed the wolf one. I haven't watched the replay out of Wolf.
Oh, like a wolf.
Howling? You were howling, yeah.
I bet they thought I was going to say maybe sex in the bath or something.
Hey. Howl it out for the neighbors. Amazing.
I have seen them since and warned them if any time they hear any funny noises. Because I think that's what they thought. I said, no, I have this ceremony, and I was explaining to them. And they actually, the young girl was quite interested. So never know, I might be able to get her interested.
Absolutely. And how does one explain it to their neighbors? You just do a little disclaimer. You're saying, hey, just so you know, I might be making some sounds. It's totally normal.
But
how about any other sounds? Because I guess there's other times in the ceremony, like wailing, humming.
Yeah, I do a lot of humming. Yeah, I do a lot of humming. Yeah, I'm a hum person. Yeah. And I try and, like you're doing that, but I try and do it, from deep within. Yeah, it's, and also sometimes, especially when it's the ones I really know, like Letting Go, I sing along to it as well.
Singing, crying, humming, howling.
The emotions you get in it are just,
incredible.
Beautiful is too, it doesn't describe what it is. It's just luxurious. I just look forward to them. I mean, I know I can put the video on and do them, but I actually look forward to them when it's the new moon, or it's just
to them live, because so they're live on the full moon and the new moon. As a Patreon, you have access as a Patreon member when you subscribe. Amazing.
And I say Patreon was the first thing, because I love music, and I love now with the patron as well, to see behind the scenes, to see what, how a song starts about. And it's just, I just think it's interesting, it's amazing really how
to
much
see Allison's
work,
process,
how much work as well, sweat and tears go into it, don't they? Which you think about, but unless you've actually seen it or know someone.
Does it speak to the musician in you in those
I'd like
lives
to think,
or
my
whatever?
next time. My next time.
Amazing. I feel invigorated just from hearing about it, and my mind's going crazy with all the wonderful things you've said to encapsulate it specifically to someone who doesn't know, because like you mentioned, to be open to it would be ideal, but how do you allow people the doorway in?
Do you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to read one of the ones that really mean a lot to me that I wrote after the bath. Wonderful. And I've started, again, really, it's through encouragement from Alison. I've got a really lovely journal I've bought. I do italic. Again, I hadn't done italic writing for years and years and years. And I've started in italic writing to do some write my poems in there, because at the moment I've just got them in my notebook on my phone. And this one I'll read you. I may not be the greatest poet at reading it, but I will try. That's if you want me to. Yeah? Okay. So this might make people understand. I titled it So Special. My heart beat so strong, feeling every pulse of life, just as only my children would have heard and felt inside my womb. That precious time surrounded by water, to think of new growth on this beloved earth. My tensions are gone, I'm full of love. Love for nature's new beginnings, the looking forward. I'm at peace and still. What more could I ask? And what more could I ask after going through depression?
Just muted to make sure your audio came through perfectly. That was lovely. Thank you for sharing. And what an incredible thing to come through from this experience.
At some point, I must have had a wanting to learn anyway, because with my second child, my daughter, I had her at home and had her with acupuncture, which was really unusual.
Wow. Yeah.
My GP, like National Health Doctor, but he taught acupuncture. And I once had my first child at home, and he said, "Oh, they don't really like you to blah blah blah." Don't forget, we're going back 40 years and 37 years, so it's really different. I mean, nowadays it's different if you want your baby, you know. And he said, "I tell you what, I promise you, if you ever have another baby at home, and you can have acupuncture." So I read up on acupuncture and thought, "Oh," and I did.
What was that like?
Oh, again, within an hour, I didn't even realise I was sipping champagne, had peaches and custard. I really fancied peaches and custard. In my own, Daniel, my son, came in, and Amy was like, I don't know, she hadn't even had a bath. And he looked like a giant. I always remember that. I thought, oh, he's got such a big head when he walked in. Because of this, but yeah, so I must have had a little bit of wanting to learn.
Yeah. Well, wow. Acupuncture for the labor we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I tell you what, yeah, didn't need anything, just that.
And so, I mean, truly, I've been studying birthing for a while now, and hearing about home births and preeclampsia and the reasons that births need to be in hospitals and people want them to be home and all these things. Yeah. But the whole like holy grail is to have such an experience.
You looked after more at home.
Yeah.
Because they're with you. Well, they're with you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
She was with me from 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had my daughter at 2:22 in the afternoon. And by then another midwife had come along, plus the doctor was there doing acupuncture. It should have been, no, we joke with it, it should have been 666, but 2:22 in the afternoon, and plus one of the doctor's receptionists came along as well.
Wow, but that's a quick. And so can I ask just where were you were placed? Where were your?
Oh, right. I had one in the top of the head.
Yeah.
One in each ear, one in each part there on the hand, because he let the midwife put one in, because she was asking about it. In fact, we're still friends all those years later. Put one in, and then one in my little toes. Oh, actually, I lied. There wasn't two in the ears. There was one in the ear, because that was for sickness, because I have sick labour. So that was for the sickness. But she came before I could say that worked, but the rest of it.
Contractions were just, so they were still quite the experience, I assume. But
I used to get worse period pains. Yeah.
What? That's awesome. That's amazing. It's wonderful to hear successful pain management stories from birth.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I suppose I must have believed in it, because you have to believe in, yeah. So these baths have just enlightened me, and yeah.
Enlighten you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've made me, it's like floating on air when, yeah. I'm not saying I'm always like it, but yeah, it's like, I like now talking about it. I'm so,
Yeah, it sounds like it's giving you an access point.
Oh, it's just giving me life back, really.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I can't, yeah. I just wish more people would do it. I do try to promote it, but
this is what's so extraordinary, is that's what Alison and I are doing every week too, to like push forward the idea of just making it accessible to all people who could benefit from it. And she's been saying for so long how incredible your story, your experience, and your ability to share about it is. And I now get to know how true that is. That's really the ticket.
Sorry, I do talk a bit.
No, that's exactly what it's necessary to explain around this experience. Because if you do just say, get in a tub and listen to this, to listen to a live performance, it doesn't, if you haven't experienced that already, something doesn't compute. But the way in which you've described it even now,
and I don't know if Alison told you, but the first time because I've done it all official with the doctor, I didn't just come off them and do whatever. I spoke to the doctor, and when he first said to me, like, why do you feel now? And I explained, And while he was talking to me on the phone, he got it up on the website. He got the website up. And he said, I can't see any problem because baths are great for trying to chill you. Meditation, music, singing. He said they're all good things to help with the mind. And then when I then went back again, when it was time to speak to him again, he looked at it again, and he actually said to me, well, one of the last time I spoke to him, he basically said that if there was any patient that he thought would benefit, i.e. be a bit more open to things, I suppose, like I was, he was actually going to mention it to them. And I recently had to ring the doctors again for a joint injection, and the doctor on there that I'd spoken to before actually looked at my notes, and it was on the notes.
Did he ask?
Because he asked what it was.
Yeah, extraordinary. It's so great. It is so great to hear the communication about it too, being accessible. That you brought this to your doctor to explain part of what was your practice to be getting off tablets, and that was an open. The doctor was as open as you were to the experience.
Oh, definitely. Like. Yeah, definitely. Oh. Yeah.
I'm so glad we went into that, because I forgot that is so important. Especially overseas, to hear, in the American healthcare system is quite behind in a lot of ways. It's so invigorating to hear that.
Yeah. You
can advocate for yourself for your own medication needs. You can advocate for yourself for your own shifting out of medication needs. Yeah. What made you feel so confident to know it was?
That it was the MmmmBath.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd not changed anything else. So what else could it be?
Mm-hmm.
I'd not just not changed anything. So, and even, but even having just music in the bath, but having the meditation and everything else that goes with it, it really does. It just changes everything.
And you mentioned you do them live, because that's quite the performance and experience with Alison, of course, but not the replay. When you're ever in a shower or a bath and it's not a full or new moon, are you ever thinking about the experience and the ritual? Is that connected to you?
I have more showers than baths. So, when I have a shower, sometimes when I have a shower, and I'm just standing there.
Like, but, still using the water.
My best times are literally when you have it live. And I say when you have it live, I had it recorded, but when you've got Alison instructing you, I suppose, helping you along. Yeah.
Yes, and what is listening to that voice while you're in the tub like? For someone, last time I'll say it, maybe not, but for someone who's never experienced it, what does it mean when Alison's there with you, or to hear her voice during the experience?
She's just got such a caring voice. It's a genuine caring voice. It's just it just goes with the ceremony. And it's as though she can, it's as though she's in the room. Well, she is in the room voice way, but it's as though she's in the room with you, and she can, sometimes it's like some of the things, which it's not, because it's for everyone, but sometimes she'll say something and it's as though, wow, you're inside my mind. You just know what I've been feeling or thinking. It's as though that, I don't know. Yeah.
So would it be, I can feel free to absorb any of the words I'm saying. Let me know if, is she guiding, she's inviting, she's leading.
Inviting, it's all of that. Yeah. Because even though I still not like now, because I've done it a few times, I know the procedure, the ceremony, how we did, but it's still, she's still guiding, because it's still, there's different things that come up, and there's, as you say, like with the moon and like planting the seeds, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Howling at the moon sometimes. Mm-hmm.
It's, as I say, people have really got to try it for a few times to realise, that this is really something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the poetry now comes through you anytime, particularly after,
I think, because I'm feeling, I'm seeing me and I'm feeling me inside. and it's like something that's been waiting for so many years. So many years to come through, you know. I mean, I've done odd little on a card, like a little I don't know, a little verse, but nothing what I call as powerful. That I, you know, my true, you know.
Well,
but even things like seeing the mist on when we drive in first thing in the morning to go to grandchildren, you know, and I wrote one poem because I saw the mist, like, and to me it was like the ancestors coming up from the ground, you know. It's just, and to be honest, so this time last year I might not have even noticed it, you know, a couple of years ago. Yeah. So
a couple of years ago may have not noticed the mist.
No,
now
I may not have,
feel
because I was
connected
still
to.
Yeah, because I was still being held by a crutch that was an artificial crutch that I needed at the time.
And keep hearing you say this thing about coming back to your true, and obviously free your true voice is what Allison helps people do. Freeing the truth that's already there, already there and wants to come out, kind of thing.
The bath has, I mean, you know, I don't know if my husband's always that happy that I free my true voice now. I know he's not, because I've told him not to make arrangements at times for me like he does and things. But, you know, it's how I'm feeling and I'm going to say it. Why should I not say it?
I think that would lead to more harmony and peace.
Yeah, because I'm now free. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, so Free Your True Voice is also a group. That did you find that through Patreon? Once you were subscribed? Through Allison, you came to Free Your True Voice, the group. Yeah. And what are the lives like that you experience there? Do you go to the lives weekly?
I think they're enough every week. Yes, in such a way. I think people that watch them must know me by now.
Yeah. And what are they? What do you come to the group for? What is your experience of the group, if I can ask?
Well, again, to really realize sometimes, you know, in yourself, sometimes you think things and you think, I wonder if it's just me that thinks that way, or I wonder, you know. And then when you hear someone else coming out or an opinion and you think, I'm not the only one, and then it makes you think, you know. Like there was one thing that I quite often at the end of a conversation say, take care. And one of the weeks there was like, I can't remember exactly, but it was like, it's a thing that you automatically say at the end, yeah. But to be honest, mostly for me, it's not a thing that I say. I say it because I do want that person to take care.
Yeah. So did that come up in the group? You know, like, the idea of just saying it versus authentically.
You know, like a lot of Americans and Canadians, when you're in the store and they have a nice day, you know, that's not, they don't want you to have a nice day. They must probably thank you they've got some commission coming because you bought something from them. You know, it's not, you know.
That's different than a well wish of like, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
If you mean it.
Right.
And now I really mean, I mean things I say.
Yes. And so some of that conversation is what came up in the group.
Yeah, I mean, there's been lots of different, you know, but it's
having a place to practice using your voice.
So you can actually, you're talking to people that, or to Alice or whoever, Tig comes along. There's a couple of others come along sometimes, but yeah, it's nice to be able to talk to people that you can, give your opinion, listen to their opinion, makes you think, you know, as I say, because then you think, well, I thought of that, and I'm not the only one, you know.
Mm-hmm. Nice. The camaraderie of voices being used. Pardon me. Free your true voice. We talked about the true voice feeling. We talked about MmmmBath experience.
MmmmBath,
We've talked about what you enjoy on Patreon, witnessing Allison's process as a musician and what you gain from that. Allison, anything else before we wrap up?
We're good. I think we've covered so
at least
much.
we're recording.